Jim Bob Cooter's got a big, big task this weekend, and that is to get what he's got ready to attack that Baltimore Ravens defense without knowing who his center is going to be or who his quarterback is going to be. Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew are different guys, so you've got to kind of prepare for both to play quarterback because you don't know which is going to play. Wesley French played well as Ryan Kelly left the game due to a concussion. Is Kelly going to be back? Are you going to have to go with French? How do you have to coach Wesley French up? All those questions asked and answered by Jim Bob Cooter. And I asked Jim Bob about the tight end position because I think it's really interesting that they've got so many unique weapons. Drew Ogletree, Mo Ali Cox, Will Mallory, Johnny Woods, when he's healthy. You've got a lot of tight ends that can go get you yards, have to be able to go get you blocks. Interesting how that kind of room is utilized in order to beat an opposing defense.
Jim Bob, you've been with a number of mobile dual threat type of quarterbacks, Trevor, Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones early on. How do you, I guess, help them find that line between obviously being aggressive but protecting themselves, which is the case, which is, the overarching theme I would imagine for Anthony Richardson right now?
Yeah, it's, something you guys asked me about in training camp, which is, obviously being able to move, being able to make plays on the ground, maybe scrambling after a pass play doesn't quite work out, or even with a designed quarterback run has a lot of value in this game, in this league. And there's a bit of a process for every quarterback, kind of learning how to handle that the best, and learning how to best sort of finish certain runs, and best sort of handle himself near sidelines and those type of things. So Anthony's obviously extremely athletic, made some great runs the other day. It'll be a part of his continued sort of understanding and development, kind of figuring out how to avoid certain hits and sort of be able to keep going.
Do you all think he's made good decisions? I mean, I think he has, but it's like that, I don't know, that last little bit maybe, or like that last little step to whatever. How do you think he has handled just the decision-making aspect of it, if that makes sense?
Yeah, overall really well. That, it's this league comes at you fast, and those guys are on you a little bit quicker, and I think, kind of leave the particulars up to him when he gets to talk to you guys. But just sort of tightening up his understanding of how fast those defenders are and how fast they close, and sort of making sure we finish through things the right way for the team. So,
yeah.
Jim Bob, without giving away any internal things too much, when you're in a situation like this going into the week where you've got a quarterback that you just don't know if you're going to have him, how do you prepare either game plans or get reps, just organizational, operational? How do you do it?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's honestly, it's a big part of our job that we handle oftentimes at a few positions almost every week. Obviously the quarterback position is a huge part of the thing because of how you build the game plans, and Gardner and Anthony having some different strengths, let you build those game plans a little bit different. But we go out, we watch the tape, we put together a good plan. Maybe you have a few extra plays on that plan, so you're fully prepared for either guy that ends up playing, because like you said, it's early in the week, and there's a lot that goes on the medical side of this thing that we stay out of. So we put together a good game plan. We're going to watch the opponent. We're going to get to know the opponent. That's sort of the time in the week we're at right now, getting to know the Baltimore Ravens, and then pretty soon we're going to turn that into ideas and plays, and our guys will be drawing up the passes and the runs behind the scenes here, and we'll put together a good plan. And obviously, as we go through this thing, be in lockstep with our medical people and make sure we're doing things the right way with reps and all that, and obviously following the procedures and the rules as we go. So it's a challenge for us as a coaching staff, but that's what this league is, and probably decent little challenge for the Ravens as well.
Kent?
Hey, Jim Bob, how do you decide at the tight end position how you're going to utilize your guys? How is it matchups? Is it you are getting more familiar with your guys? A lot of tight ends, a lot of talent.
Yeah, there's a few ways that position can go, and sometimes you're going to have a tight end that stays out there a majority of the time or plays a lot of the game, and sometimes offensively, if you're ever playing on the ball with some tempo or playing in a 2-minute mode, those guys are staying on the ball. Whoever's in is in, and we want that guy to be able to do as many different things as well as he can. But as you're going through the flow of the game and maybe you're substituting a few times in and out of some different personnel groups, we try to sort of give all our guys some reps and utilize what they do best, and sort of do that with an eye on making sure we're not setting any huge tendencies there, but also kind of that we are getting the most out of our guys, and like I said earlier, letting them do what they do best. So we do have a good group, a varied group with different strengths and different sort of things that they can really help our offense do well. So we're going to try to get the most out of those guys. That'll be, a big part of our success this year will be having a good year at the tight end position, whatever that ends up looking like. So those guys made a few plays in the last game, whether that was, making some nice catches, making some plays down the field, or even just some of the things you don't, probably don't make headlines, but just shoot Mo Alley Cox just blocking his tail off in there and making some of those runs go. So those guys I thought had a really strong game at that position, and we'll need that from those guys. We need a good week every week from that tight end room.
Joel,
Pitt was telling us that last week on Anthony's second touchdown run, that last week in practice, Shane was like pretty pumped about that play and telling him, make that block, make that crack back. What I know kind of all offensive coaches get this way, but what's Shane like when he's got something for the game plan that he knows if he gets the right defense, it's going to go?
Yeah, you're right. We are all that way. I don't want to give away too many of the behind the scenes details on the head coach, but I'll just say, like, hey, we had a play that we thought was pretty good versus several different defenses they could play. But gosh, if we just happened to get that certain one, we had a real shot to get around that edge. And like you said, Coach Steichen made it, very evident. Hey, the key block on this play, there's a bunch of key blocks, but gosh, the key block on this play was Pitt getting that thing sealed off. And Pitt sort of making sure he was exactly where he needed to be when he needed to be there. And he did it just perfectly, which enabled that whole thing to go. Yeah, like you said, we get sometimes, we put all these plays on the sheet, and certain guys always like certain plays more than others. And that was one that was, we all kind of knew had a shot to be pretty good. And I think Shane most of all was excited to see that thing go. And we broke the huddle, and the look was just right, and we said, shoot, we might have it, So give credit to all our guys for really playing well on that play. And like you said, I'll give Pitt credit for what he gave himself credit for, which is a great block. He was instrumental in that thing. I don't know that it would have gone all the way without that. I don't think it would have. So huge block for us there. Great job there.
JJ,
when you have Zach Moss grinding out 2-3 extra yards on runs, say if it's 1st and 10 and he does that, just what does that do to the menu of plays that's then available on second down, just those couple of extra yards?
It's huge. When you have those sort of very short runs, those 0 or 1 or -1 or 2 yard runs, compared to those 4, 5, 6 yard runs, it opens up a lot of the playbook, a lot of the call sheet for the play caller. I thought Zach, gosh, he played really well. Zach ran so hard. The guys were blocking. The guys were, if you take a look at that tape one more time, you'll see some great double team blocks by our offensive line, really moving the first level of that defense. And, Zach made the most out of it, man. Zach didn't just get what was there. He got more, and he kept going, and he kept fighting, and, really did an amazing job, sort of playing almost the entire game, So it does a lot for the confidence of the unit. I think it does a lot for the confidence of the play caller. Traditionally, at least I'll just speak to my own experience in the past, where you're dialing up 2nd and 4 calls instead of 2nd and 9 calls. It makes a world of difference for opening up that call sheet. So yeah, I thought Zach had a really strong game. Good to have him back. Good to get him back rolling.
Nate.
Kylan Granson scored his first career touchdown on Sunday. Just what have you liked so far about his skill set, the way that it kind of matches with the other receivers? He seems kind of like a different body type than a lot of them.
Yeah, and that's your tight end position, right? We got some different guys, different strengths, different body types, different sizes. Kylan's done a nice job really executing in the run and the pass game. You can really count on, you can really rely on Granson to be in the right place, doing the right thing. Works really hard to get open in the pass game and does a good job of doing that, but probably doesn't get the credit he deserves for doing some of that dirty work in the run game, doing those block and rolls. So it's like you said earlier, it's a position that, we think, boy, they had a really good week of work last week. They came out and they played pretty good. Kylan's obviously a huge part of that thing. It's good to see him get that first touchdown, and it was a big one, right there at the end of the half. It was, going to get a little bit more interesting situationally there, but he made a really nice catch and was able to score it. So he's doing a nice job for us. We're excited to kind of keep him coming along, and we'll continue to find different roles and different avenues he can help our offense.
Kevin.
Jim Bob, sorry about that. When you look at helping out an experienced center, I know Wesley played the second half on Sunday. In what ways can you do that? And I guess kind of twofold, where would you say Baltimore ranks on just like the exotic nature to them defensively compared to the rest of the NFL? It seems like even with some changes, they are pretty exotic.
Yeah, I thought Wesley did a nice job, right? Coming in second half of a game, kind of having to jump right into the flow of a game and sort of see how he held up. I thought he did a nice job, right? Made a lot of the right calls out there, did a lot of really good communicating out there. So good to see that and good to have that. And, we're always looking for guys that are going to come in and just play good ball at the offensive line positions. And Wesley certainly did that on Sunday. Yeah. Baltimore's been a really good defense since I can remember in the NFL, right? Probably since I don't know, going way back, right? They've been really good. They've done it in different ways over the years. They've done it with different defensive coordinators and different strengths and weaknesses. But you can always kind of count on them to push you and to stress you mentally, to really make you work as an offense, as an offensive coordinator, as a center, as a quarterback, as all of us. We all they're going to make us work. As a guy drawing the runs back there, we got plenty of run fronts to draw up. They are a multiple group. You'll see a lot of different looks. You'll see a lot of different things that they can do to you. You have to know that going in. You have to prepare for that, and then just go play. That's this league. Every week is a different challenge in this league. Are you playing a 4-down group or a 3-down group? Are you playing a group that loves man coverage, or gosh, do they play a ton of zone? You play teams that blitz almost none. You play teams that blitz a ton. What do those blitzes look like? Are they really complex? Are they overload blitzes? Are they cover zero where they're really bringing as many guys as they can bring? Or are they sort of that one single blitzer, and sometimes they're dropping a D lineman, and all those things create different challenges for an offense. And that's why I think it's so important for us as a coaching staff to sort of use this time early in the week to really truly attempt to understand our opponent, and then put the best plan together for that opponent. And ultimately as the week goes to teach our players and coach our players accordingly. So yeah, Baltimore's always been a challenge on defense. That is absolutely still true. Those guys are playing really good football, obviously winning football this year so far. And we got our work cut out for us, but that's what they pay us for. We're here. We're working. We're going to put together a good plan and go try to get after them.
Raven.
you've been around so many different quarterbacks throughout your time working for the NFL. What do you think it is about Gardner that helps to make him so efficient? He talked last week that he didn't get any reps with the ones during practice, and yet he comes out, has a really efficient game, completes over 80% of his passes. Just what is it about Gardner that you think makes him so efficient?
Yeah, Gardner, to my experience with him, and I was around him in Philadelphia in a different capacity, just myself. I wasn't sort of in the same capacity I am here, but just being around him this year, really watching him go through his daily process and watching how he sort of learns and digests the weekly game plan and the offense and the defense and all that stuff. I think Shane said it the other day, but I'll steal his line. I mean, it is like talking to another coach. It's like, Gardner's watched all the tape. You could say, hey, hey, Gardner, did you see that blitz I'll just make something up here. That you see that blitz in the Pittsburgh game? And he's, oh yeah, they brought this and they did this, and I think we could do that to it. I think I could see that. Things like that. Gardner is one of the more heady, more astute players I've ever been around. And when he was in that game, and it sort of became evident to us that Gardner was going in that game, there was no sort of hesitation, no friction. Sometimes backup quarterbacks come in and it takes a second to get going. Gardner Minshew, it doesn't take half a second. He is ready to roll. He's got his game plan. He knows the defense, kind of the looks, the adjustments, maybe the tells, if you will, of a defense, and he's hitting the ground running. So that's all due to his preparation early in the week. He puts the time in. He's always around the building. He's watching tape. He's always drawing up new pass ideas. If you guys want any pass ideas, go ask Gardner. He'll give you 10 of them. He's got ideas on top of ideas, but that's because I think he loves the game and he loves, being a part of the thing and thinking about the thing and trying to find those little advantages that can help him succeed and help us succeed. So yeah, really happy that he had some success, and it's like I said, it's because of the work he puts in on days like today.
Last two, James.
Jim Irsay mentioned that Gardner could be a starter on a couple other teams. Do you view him as like a starting caliber player? And if so, how much of that is a luxury to know that, I'm not saying he's coming for anybody's job, nothing like that at all, but just the fact that he is, pretty good when it comes to being thrown in there, and probably a little bit better than other options around the league.
Yeah, I think we're thrilled. We're thrilled that we have Gardner. I think he plays football at a level above a lot of the backup guys that I've seen out there. I think Gardner can be a good starting quarterback in this league. He's played really good football. He continues to show that when he gets his opportunity. So Gardner comes in, like I said, we hit the ground running. We go score some points. We move the ball. Gardner's done a nice job, I think, throughout his career. When I've been around him anyway, I'll just speak to my own personal experience of, like, when Gardner Minshew shows up and plays football for your team, you got a shot to go win that game. So if that's the case this week, or if that's the case at any point this year, we got all the confidence in the world in Gardner, and I think his teammates do too.
Yeah.
Jim Bob, you talked briefly earlier about the 2 touchdown runs by Anthony and how it was executed well. You guys, let's say you have 60 snaps in a game and you draw things up. How often do they just work like, darn, that's how we saw it?
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the better years we've had, maybe it's a little more often. I don't know what the number is. We're probably all optimistic as coaches. We give you all numbers that are too high, but when they work just like that, and shoot, I can tell you examples of plays that work just perfect, and we just missed the pass, or we dropped the ball, or we got we got an offensive lineman that gets beat or whatever. These things all happen. So as a coaching staff, we work really hard to give our players the best chance to succeed, and I think that's what all 32 of the staffs do. But to have the play sort of get drawn up, you kind of get the look you were thinking you might get or hoping you might get, and then it's executed really well by our guys, and then shoot, in this league you can do all those things I just said and then that great defender, that great D lineman makes the play, and you know it all goes for naught. So how often does it just hit just perfect? You know, just a few times a game if you're really humming. A lot of times you might have it really well blocked or a really well executed play, but the defense is fighting and scratching and clawing to stop you from scoring that touchdown. And maybe you look up, you get that 8-yarder instead of that 25-yarder, you know. So that's our task in this life we've chosen. That's our task here in the NFL to do everything we can to have those successful plays so that we can kind of have those one-play drives are pretty good, at least for the offense. So we're fighting and scratching and clawing to find those things out, but the defense is doing the same prep right now not to let us. So that's the fun part about our job.
So like you said, based on last week, maybe they happen, I don't know, twice a game.
That's when life's good. Yeah, when life's good, twice a game is good. It's hard, man. It's hard in this world. So every now and then you hit it just right. So.